Welcome, everybody, to the What a Life podcast. Real life, real talk kind of sisters. I'm one of your hosts, Jalen.
And I'm Jaden. And today we thought that it would be fun before I say that, we were kind of struggling with, what to talk about today because you had a lot of fun guests on the podcast. And we were like, okay, we need to record another video of just us. So I was looking through some articles online and I was like, okay. The interwebs. And I came across like life advice for young adults. I think one of them's titled like 17 pieces of advice to learn before you're 30. And I was like, I feel like it'd be so fun if we sat down and like read through these articles and kind of just like listen, like see what people are saying. So we're going to
read them and then like say our thoughts on them? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, okay. I'm curious. We're going to learn the life advice, I guess, that we need to, know before we turn 30 as young adults.
Okay.
So we'll see.
So
I'm intrigued.
But the first one is find a way to stay active. Do you have any thoughts on it? I do.
When was the last time you worked out?
Oh my goodness. I woke up today and I was going to work out, but I didn't. But I was on this like stay active thing. I like how they put ways to stay active instead of like get fit or like lose weight.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
Because I feel like so many people work out for the purpose of like changing themselves and not for the purpose of like living a longer, healthier life.
That's very true. I mean, you don't have to necessarily be going to the gym to stay active. You just go for a walk, play some tennis, some pickleball. I was thinking back and a time when I was very stressed and I don't want to say angry, but just like over life. I was at my like fitness peak. Like I think I was working out every day for 40 minutes, 3 months straight. And I was starting to see results because I was just like, that's how I kind of just got away from life. And now I'm like, I went to work out yesterday. I texted them because there was something I was like really stressed about. And I was like, I need to just go blow off steam. I'm going to go work out. I think I was so paralyzed. I just laid on my floor and I was just like,
really?
What is life?
See, I was like, I knew that I should like probably blow off steam because we were both stressed. So I just laid in bed.
Yeah, no, that's what I ended up doing. I laid on the floor for like 10 minutes and then I moved into my bed with Flynn and I just napped.
I just watched the show. I was just like, this is how we're moving on.
But stay fit if you can.
Stay active.
I'm determined to be that like old grandma that like that's still like very active and fit.
That can play with her great grandkids.
Yes, that's my goal in life. My word.
Okay, so the next one is your friends are contagious.
I agree.
There's a little GIF here, and it makes me really happy. It's from Friends. It reminds me of the quote like, "Show me the 5 closest people, and I'll show you like who you are," or something like that. Yeah, that your dad always says.
I agree. Like. There's another one that's like you're the average of like the 5 people you hang out with. And it's so true because if you're hanging around really positive people, chances are you're going to be positive. If you're hanging around negative people, you're going to be pretty negative. So that's why I always think it's important and it's okay to not hang out with, people or say no to certain things if you feel like it's not a good circle for you to be in. But
one of my favorite things is like when you like, it's just like, you're hanging out with people so often that you start to like adopt their mannerisms. Yes. It is so fun. Then you're like doing stuff and you see yourself. You're like, oh my goodness, that was so them of me. Or like you do it. And I was just like, oh my goodness, that means they're rubbing off on you, which can be good or can be bad. So pay attention to who you're around because that affects so much of what you do. Like even like I've noticed sometimes your style is affected by who you're around. And so just pay attention to that because that's so important. Especially I feel like in high school, like those cliques and everything, like speaking to the high schoolers and stuff. Guys, I was never in high school, but I know about them.
Well, you were in high school. You were in like
a building high school. You know what I mean. Technically, I did go in a building during high school.
That's true.
So I made one friend.
Word. But yeah, if you're still in high school, even middle school, like
oh my goodness,
being popular is not everything. It's okay if you don't, you're not on the latest trends and hypes. Like, and 50 years from, not even 50, like 20, 30 years from now, no one's going to look back and care, really. You're probably not even going to talk to the same people you're going to school with now, so you're good.
You want to tell us the next one?
Sure. Okay, the next one says, you don't need to explain yourself to everyone. And the little GIF is like
I love how you say GIF, I say GIF.
Oh, GIF? How do you actually say it? Now I'm like...
I'm gonna get maybe I'll Google that at the end.
I don't know. But yeah, you don't need to explain yourself to everyone. This is true. This is something that I feel like I have to work on.
Oh, yeah.
Even now, because I think I always have to like have a reason for everything, or I'm scared people are gonna like get mad or not understand what I'm doing or like talk about me, which like it doesn't matter. Like you don't have to explain yourself.
As long as you're pleasing God, it doesn't matter who you displease.
The quote from my dad, it's so true.
Your dad is very quotable.
He is very credible.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Act like you've been there before. Oh, this reminds me of like when you walk in a place and you're supposed to just act like you like own the place and then everybody will think you belong there. I live and breathe by that.
Yeah, talking about my dad being quotable. I feel like I say this to like Juvie and Jossie all the time. I'm always like, when I was younger, my dad told me like, act like you belong there and no one's gonna question it. Like if you're going somewhere, like if you act confident and act like you're the reason the party's happening, no one's gonna look at you and be like, oh, what's she doing? Who's she? They're just gonna be like, wow, like she like must really like she's supposed to be here. So it's so true. I mean, I can't say I actually do that, but like
no, I feel like this is a large part of why like when people are just awkward and quiet, I'll just like be so loud and weird, and I just feel like that makes like it also calms the room in a way too.
Yeah.
I was talking to Juliana about this the other day, but we were talking about how like in awkward situations, kind of like making it more awkward makes it less awkward.
You guys are so good at that. Though.
Really?
Or not, maybe we're not thinking the same thing, but it's always a joke. I'll be like, why did you make that so awkward? And you're just like, I like making things awkward, but like things won't be awkward, and then you'll see something or like Juvie too to make it awkward purposely, and I'm just like, this is so awkward.
Okay, well, sometimes I do that on accident though, and I'm
really?
I'm like, dang, why did I say that?
No,
I was talking to my hairdresser about that though. It's kind of cool how everybody has like the same experiences, kind of. Yeah. And she said something to me, and she was like, 10 minutes later, she was like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. That was so weird. And I was like, no, same. I said something earlier. I was just like, what?
Why?
It kind of like brings you together in a sense.
Okay, let's see here. Say less and listen more. So I was looking at the GIF.
Isn't that from something?
That's from The Next Step. Do you remember that show?
I didn't watch it.
I loved The Next Step as a kid. It was like this Canadian dance show. And I think we could only watch it through Hulu because it was Canadian. So it wasn't on our TV. And I was obsessed with it. But say less and listen more. That's a good rule to live by in general.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like I definitely can work on this.
This is a hard one. I think that like, I feel like this is just one of the biggest problems in like our culture. Like this is something that I think anyone can work on because it's so much easier to just talk and like defend yourself or prove yourself.
That's what I was gonna say. You're so quick to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree. This one just speaks for itself.
Yeah, it does. Okay. It says, it's okay to say you're sorry, but if you don't correct yourself, you're full of it. I'm trying. Okay.
Well, okay. Maybe read the script. That's what I'm having to do to kind of understand what they're saying.
An apology without correction is manipulation. Using sorry as a band-aid for something that requires deeper healing is awful, and you can cause infection, literally and figuratively.
That's actually true.
That's so good.
That's good. I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
I will say that one of my pet peeves is when people say they're sorry and like the same thing happens like continually, you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
Like if they say sorry and they mess up again, like okay, yeah, like maybe it's something they need to work on, but like if they're just like, oh, I'm sorry, forgive me, I'm sorry, it won't happen again, sorry, and like 20 times later I'm just like, no, like mean it. Or
although I feel like that's how God feels with us.
Honestly,
the amount of times we like come to him, we're like, oh, I'm sorry, like help me not to do this again, or like repent, and then we just like go back to it.
Yeah. It's true.
That speaks to me. That's good. Okay. If you have shortcomings in your work ethic, work on them now or never. Work on all the bad habits you right now.
I feel like I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why you would never work on them though.
Well, I mean, I think that it's talking like, say you're like you always sleep in till like 11, or you're always running late to places, or you're never getting your work done on time, and you don't work on fixing it now, like you're just gonna keep the habits. Like one day when you're working in your job, like I don't know. I'm thinking that's what it's talking about, which I'd agree with. Like if there's stuff that like this age right now, like middle school, high school, young adult, like this is prime time to like develop your habits. Like everyone says that, like the habits you form now are gonna you're gonna bring them with you as you get older, and chances are it's gonna be harder to fix them when you're an adult because you've been doing them for so long. So yeah, I'd agree. If there's stuff you need to work on, like just do it now.
I think I'm very intrigued if there's gonna be any pieces of advice that we disagree on.
I know.
I kind of hope there is, and we can have like a little debate.
I'm curious. Okay.
Treat the janitor the same way you treat the CEO.
Everyone says this.
This reminds me of Undercover Boss.
Really? Yeah. That's true. That one speaks for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get over your fear of rejection.
Yes.
Yes. This is true.
Because honestly, the worst thing, this is honestly anything in life, you are thinking about it more than anybody else is thinking about it. Even like if you're asking a question and they say no, or if you do something and people maybe think you're weird. Yeah. If they're not telling you, you don't know what they're thinking. So just like, go on. Yeah. That's what were we talking about? Our most embarrassing. Oh, we had a sleepover and we were talking about our most embarrassing moment. And Jalen was like, Jalen, what's yours? I was like, honestly, I do a lot of embarrassing things, but I don't let myself feel embarrassed because it's not embarrassing if you don't get embarrassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Completely.
Mm-hmm.
You attract what you are.
That is true.
It's all these are true.
It is so good.
I was listening to someone talk about specifically relationships in this sense, and actually, I think it was a book by JP. It was the second time recording JP today, but I love his books, and he was talking about how people find themselves like dating different people, like person after person, and they're sitting there and they're coming to him and they're like, why does my relationship keep ending like this? Why do I keep falling for the same guys?
Common denominator.
Yeah, it's like you attract what is it called? Like you attract the fish in this, or like you, I don't know. We gotta work on.
Yeah. That's like one of the things with me. Like if things are constantly going wrong in your life, or you're having the same problem, take a look in the mirror, please. Yeah. Please and thank you, because you're probably the problem, and it's probably an easy fix. It's probably not gonna be just like. Gotta reflect on yourself. I feel like most often you just gotta humble yourself a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's the key to life. Be humble. Yeah. That's not on here, but now it is.
That's our new quote. Be
humble. This one says, create some space from any friends you can't sit idly with. Ooh.
This is interesting.
I like that. Because it's always cool. It's friends who you can just sit on the couch and do nothing with. Best kind of friends.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Juby about this too in time, because we were driving in the car and we were saying how there's certain people that you may drive in the car with where you feel like you always have to be on and talking conversation. Like you get anxious when it's silence because you're scared. They're like, but like half the time when I'm driving in the car with them, I'm literally just sitting there like resting from the day or silent, just because like we're so comfortable with each other where I don't feel like I have to like be in present. Like I can just be myself. So I love this because you can just sit on the couch with them and not say anything and like still enjoy each other's company.
I feel like you finally made it in a friendship when you can sit in a car and just drive.
That's true.
And not speak.
And it not be awkward. Yeah. Like I agree.
Even better if like you can sing along to the music and just be like, woo!
Yes.
That is, because I feel like that's another step. Like when I'm like singing the music in the car, yes, I'll sing on the stage, but singing in the car is a whole other thing.
Yeah, I agree.
This is good. It says, see a financial advisor and save your money.
It's so good. Like, okay, so I'm thinking about us, right? And I'm like, I feel like compared to a lot of like teenagers and stuff, we weren't as bad as we could be with our money. Yeah. Like, especially Jalen, more so Jalen. Like, but even looking at me, like, there's obviously purchases where I'm like, okay, did I need that? No, like, I could have saved that
Your
money.
Dog.
I love my dog. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, did I make a mistake? And I'm like, no. I love Flynn. But yeah, I would save now. Save like early middle, like right when you get a job, automatically just start saving money because you're gonna thank your younger self in the future.
I think we should have an episode about this. Because her mom like taught like a financial class at the church for a couple times. Should do that again. But we should have her on and we can.
Yeah, this is a really good topic.
Especially because young adults, like college, cars, inflation.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
One of my friends actually recently, she texted me. She said, Jalen, I need help saving money. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll be your financial advisor. But all I do, I haven't actually done a really good job with it. But she was like, just text me every day and ask me what money I spend. I was like, okay, I can do that. Accountability. Find an accountability partner.
And one thing that I've actually found that's actually started helping me is if you have that desire to spend money, or I mean, I feel like everyone can say maybe not, is that like once you spend money, sometimes it's like therapy, or like you're like, okay, like I got something. Yeah, it is. It's therapy. So sometimes what I do is I just transfer money from my checking to savings account, and it still gives me that like
really,
yeah, it still gives me that feeling of like, oh, I'm like I spent my money, or like I put it somewhere. Life hack. That's what I've been doing recently, and I've actually found like it's exciting to like see my savings go up, but it's literally just moving from my checking to my savings. That is so interesting. So yeah, that's a little tip maybe if you like that little rush of like, oh, I just spent some money. Like, I don't know. It's something I found that worked.
I actually learned about retail therapy in my advertising class.
Really? It's a real thing.
I was learning about different like reasons people shop. There's so many.
Oh yeah.
My goodness, maybe I'll do a whole episode of like
takeover
research paper.
No, my word.
The next one is plan your meals out for the week and cook for yourself. This is something I want to do so bad.
I can't cook.
That is true. This is something I want to do really bad. I love the idea of it. Like one week I made chicken, but my whole family ate it.
I know. It's hard. Okay, but like it's also hard when you live with your family. Like if you're still living at home to do this, because one, like you're using everyone else's ingredients. It's not like you can buy your own stuff. And two, it's never safe. So unless in our house, it's like if you have a Sharpie and write your name on the Tupperware, then it's yours.
Ooh.
But
that'll never fly.
But yeah, no, I'm so bad about making food for myself.
That's really one of her goals. We're going to teach her.
It is. I'm going to learn how to make food.
That should be an episode. Like, not an episode, but like a YouTube video.
It'd be so chaotic.
That's a cooking show with me and you would be so chaotic.
Actually, we should do that for an episode. We're adding it to the episode queue.
Yeah. Do you want to read them?
This one sounds so like, what's the word? Okay, it's learn your rights and know the law.
I'm so bad at this. Fun fact about me. I think I took government 3 or 4 times in high school. I could not tell you a thing about our government. It is so bad.
No, same. And I feel like it just gets harder though now with the culture that we live in. Like it's not as easy just because, the government. But
But my favorite thing is sending funny reels of the government to her. I will find a funny reel any day.
They're so funny.
Don't ask me what they're talking about, but if it's funny.
The whole learn your rights thing, I feel like the only thing I know is like if my dad will just tell me, be like, oh, if this was to ever happen to you, like you have like this right. Like you don't have to do this, or you can do this. Mm-hmm. So like it's just those little things, but this is something I think that we actually should know as, young adults.
Yeah, we definitely should.
Learning like your rights and stuff, but
that's revealing. The next one is try not to post about your goals on social media. Write them down. It is okay. I agree with the writing them down and not posting on social media, but I also feel like it's kind of good to share it with other people because then they can be like, hey, have you made any steps towards this goal? Or like, what are you doing to like improve yourself or blah, 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 blah. But I will say it is annoying when people kind of do that sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like there's like, I do write my goals down. I'm not the best at going back to where I wrote them down and actually like reevaluating them. So I guess it just depends. Like people always say it's better to write stuff down because you're more likely to remember it. But at the same time, chances are I won't go back and look. But the posting on social media, I feel like, yeah, it is kind of nice to have like the accountability and kind of now that you've posted it, like you've shared with people that you're going to do it.
It depends on what the goal is, though.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, okay.
And who's following you? I feel like there are so many, like, because if you specifically curated your following on social media to be your closest people, share your goals. No one cares. They all care about you. But if you have like a significant following or you're just following people or people are following you just because. I feel like that's
I feel like it depends on the goal. Like, I mean, I don't know. Well, okay, so I had a goal to read books this year, right? And I decided to just share that on the
well, that's
just
good because that helps other people.
Yeah, and I kind of find it fun. Like, it's not even like, if people hate it, like, just skip past them, I guess. But Michelle's like, what is she doing? No, but like, it's fun because you get to like share. So like things like, I don't know, if you have a goal to work out more and you're kind of just like, oh, went to the gym today and like make sure to work out. Like if you're kind of encouraging people, then
that's what I was gonna say. Like if you're gonna post a goal, make sure it's helping somebody else or the people you're following.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good way to see if you should be posting it. Or like, and honestly, anything you're posting on social media, if it's gonna benefit somebody else, or if it's positive, if it's negative in any way or it's gonna hurt somebody, don't post it. But like you with your books, like she's posting the book she's reading and she's being like, hey, look at I made this, I accomplished this. But she's also giving reviews and like, so people are like, oh, that's a good book, maybe I want to read it. So it's adding to somebody else's life too.
Yeah, I agree. Positivity. Don't call your parents, call your grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc.
It says don't just call your parents.
Sorry. Don't take my life advice. Don't talk to your parents
ever. Don't call your parents.
No, don't just call your parents.
I'm bad at this.
Yeah, same. I agree that it's a really good thing to do because, I mean, you never know how much time you have with someone, but I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I'm not good at this at all. I mean, luckily for me, I don't have any cousins, so don't have to do that one.
Well, I try to even just like
you're really close with your family.
Yeah, like we do have a really close family, which I love, and I try to be that cousin if I can to like the ones that I talk to that can, you know, text them and be like, hey, how are you doing? Or like want to FaceTime, or if they have anything, they know they can come to me because like I want that with them. So I would say like, try to talk to your extended family, you know, build a relationship if you can.
This is all good advice.
I know. Finally.
And last but not least, finally, do your best to achieve balance. This is hard.
I know, it really is.
Finding like a work-life balance, but I feel like specifically for Christians, if you're serving in your church, finding a church to God balance, because that's often when people do experience church hurt or whatever, it's the people. Often the reason why people are experiencing that is because people have hurt you. It's not the church and it's not God. And I feel like finding that balance, or even getting burnt out in ministry and stuff, I feel like it's really hard to find that balance between serving and knowing like when you need to just choose your relationship with God over that.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note that if we're talking about church, like you don't have to be at everything and you don't have to be going to every single Bible study. You don't have to be like, obviously it's good for you to like be in community. Like if the church is having an event or like we do like prayer and worship nights here, like, that's different. That's more for like personal growth. But if you're doing it to be liked by people or, you know, check the boxes and be like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm a great Christian. Like, no one's looking at you and caring. And that's just going to like, you're going to crumble. Like, no, do it with the right motive. So,
I saw something Bella Robertson posted a while back, but she was basically posting how she can often try to be perfect, and she was just sharing how she's not perfect. And she specifically talked about her devos and how she doesn't always like actually get in the Bible or like do a written out devo, but sometimes it's listening to a message. And that honestly, like I reflected on that. I was like, that is so good, because there are honestly sometimes you get up and you just like your mind is not there, and you know that you're not going to be there when you're like reading. But especially like this morning for me, I slept in and I knew that my mind wasn't going to be where it needed to be for my devo. So instead I found a message on YouTube and I listened to that, and that was my time with the Lord. And honestly, it was so good. I got so much more out of that than I would have gotten out of the devo that day. So I feel like that's also a good balance, knowing when your mind is in the right spot too.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
All right. Now this one is titled, I asked 37 young adults to share their best life advice.
This is 36.
I cannot read today. Let me try it again. I asked 36 young adults to share their best life advice because being an adult is hard.
Oh my goodness. Remember when we were little and all we wanted to be was adults?
I want to go back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay, let's read some of this advice from some young adults.
Yeah.
All right. Jake, age 19, shared, thinking that you will only be able to do a little is really is a really bad reason to not do anything at all.
That's good.
Yeah, Jake's right. I'm trying to understand this because my brain's not functioning.
Like, if you only think that you're gonna make a little bit of an impact, don't let that be the reason you don't do anything at all.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because
it's gonna affect, like, even with the podcast. That's what our thing. We were like, we went into this knowing that no one could listen to it. Exactly. But it's not preventing us from doing anything at all. Ooh, I like this one. It says, be a little stupid, be crazy in your dreams, and never settle. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like how it says, like, be a little stupid, be crazy in your dreams. Like, it's okay to not be perfect. Like, Jill was just saying, like, it's okay if you mess up. That's what we do. We're young adults. We're going to do stupid things. And honestly, when you do something stupid, like, the best thing you can do is just laugh and move forward. Yeah. Like, I think it's also important to remember that we've all been there too. Yeah. Like when we do inevitably do stupid things because we're young, we're gonna have fun, good fun. But also remember that everybody has been there. So, like, relax. Yeah. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Wait, what? I want to be here for.
Well, you're spending eternity in heaven. That's ultimately the long time.
That's true. I was like, you say you want to die young? It's like, I'll be alive.
Okay. Do you want to find one?
All right, let's see.
Ooh, I don't agree with that one.
I was going to say, Tori at 19 says time heals everything.
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree either. I think that you can have the longest time in the world and still, you're going to have the scars. So the scars aren't going to go away. I mean, it could definitely make it better, but it's not going to heal everything.
A scar is like a healed wound, but the scar is also the reminder of it. Yeah. And that hurts. Honestly, sometimes more than going through it the second time. Yeah. Sucks.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah. This one says everything happens for a reason. I do agree with that one because even the bad things will help you learn and grow. And we were just talking about that in an episode that we recorded today. Is it coming out after this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that because we have a really, really good episode.
This one says, Maureen shares, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Okay, it's also Maureen.
That's what I said, Maureen.
You said Maureen. That's Maureen.
Maureen.
I love the different ways we pronounce
Maureen. Yeah, there you go. I feel like I'm speaking whale, like on Dory, like Maureen.
This is such a chaotic episode. Okay, so this is not random, but this is very random. But something about us when we hang out, when we first met, so I used to call the clearance rack Clarence. I would always be like, oh, let's go over to the Clarence. And they'd be like, it's clearance, Jalen. But now I call it clearance. And she calls it Clarence.
I call it clearance, but if I'm around her, I'll say Clarence because that's how she always said. Like we just talked about, when you hang around people, you start to talk like that.
It's so funny.
Oh my word.
Anyway, what was it?
It's not what you know, it's who you know, which I would agree that a lot of things in life are about who you know, like connections. There's a lot of people that can start from like ground zero and just like move all the way up the scale because they know someone. So
yeah, I feel like especially with college degrees now, yes, they're important. If you're in college, work towards your degree because there are some jobs where you need a degree. But other ones, like, you can still make your way without it because it's not what you know, it's who you know and how you get to know them. Because I feel if you're just getting to know your mom, like, your mom goes up to her boss and's like, look, my daughter she's really nice. But instead, what you can do is you can go to the person that your mom knows and be like, hey, you know my mom, and like, that's what I would add. It's not what you know, it's who you know and how you know them.
Yeah. And I also think networking is something that like we don't think
about
enough.
We should get taught that more.
I know. We should. But like obviously with our generation, there's a lot of anxiety that a lot of people have, like social anxiety. But honestly, like if you can start young with networking and just connecting with people, like it's cool when you can go like know that someone knows like anyone anywhere, and anywhere you go, you're gonna have a connection.
I think one of the coolest things this is like a really good God moment, but last summer I was looking for another job, and a lady in our church like literally just came up to me and she was like, hey, my office is looking to hire and I think you'd be really good for it. And like obviously like I hadn't talked to this lady a bunch, but that's kind of like a form of networking. I feel like Christians have that unique ability to really have like a community around them, especially in the church. Like if you're really active in your church, so many people know you, and that's a fun way of networking. Like you never realize like, girl, like the way God moves when you get to know people around you. So good.
This is also so off topic, but I was talking to my mom and sister about this. So Jossie and I are on the Gossip Girl kick because
you are.
We had never seen it before, and so we're trying to like watch the series together. It's like something we're doing, like sister thing. But I was talking to them and I was like, are there really? Which I know that there are, but I feel like we don't hear about it, or like, I mean, not in our circle.
Where are we going?
Like, so they're a group of like really rich high schoolers in New York, and like they like basically like some of them get schools because their parents are rich and like money and they know people like
Lori Loughlin.
Yeah, but it's just like I can't fathom. And I was like, do they really exist? Like, is there actually a school with a bunch of rich kids whose parents are like billionaires?
Oh, 1,000%.
And I was like, yeah, but my mom's like, not her. We are like, we don't know them, but it's true. Like, it's just crazy to me. I'd love to just like get the inside scoop, like Gossip Girl. Like, I'd love to just go to a school and like see what it's like. I don't know.
We should sign this episode off. XOXO
Gossip Girl.
Okay. Let's see. Ooh, this one says, in order to get, you have to give.
Okay, I feel like this could go 2 different ways.
Okay.
This could go like prosperity gospel type vibe where it's like, you're just like, give, and God will bless you. Like, no, that's I'm sorry if you're listening, but this is not biblical. But I do think that giving does result in, like certain types of blessings. Like, I don't know. I think that giving definitely like opens up the door. We always say here for God to bless you.
Yeah. And even when you give, what you're getting can even be a good feeling. Yeah. Just feeling good.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be anything big.
Yeah. Honestly, the best part about Christmas is giving gifts.
I agree.
It's so fun, and just like to see people just like really like something you give them, that just makes everything worth everything. Actually, no, I take that back. The best part about Christmas was Jesus being born. But I really love giving other people gifts too.
There was one up here that I think okay, this one says, why should they care about the way you looked or act as long as you aren't hurting anyone? Which I'd beg to differ, I think.
I think so too. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why.
I just don't. I think that as long as you aren't hurting anyone is what's getting me. Like,
because you don't know if you're hurting anyone.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how. This is just not sitting well.
I mean, like, I get where they're coming from, where like you don't have to care what other people think about you, but at the same time, you don't know what other people are thinking about you.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you can be like, oh my goodness, they said that I'm so kind and I'm blah, 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 blah. But in the back of their mind, they'd be like, oh my goodness, this person is just so like, they're hurting my spirit every time I'm with them or blah, 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 blah. But you're like, what they're speaking to you isn't that, which also speak the truth and love people.
Yes.
But also, yeah, I kind of agree with it, but I also.
Yeah, same. I'm not fully supportive.
Because I'm also one of those people who I don't really care if I know, I don't know. Because I do, that's so hard because I do agree with it. But I also, like, part of me is like, people could take that and use it wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here.
Discipline is wisdom. That's good.
That is true.
I was still not that great at taking discipline. But, we're working on it every day. I'm better than when when someone used to discipline me when I was like 8 or 10 or something, I would really cry. I would be like, they'd be like, you can't do that. And I'd be like, and it wasn't that bad.
I remember we were in Sunday school one time, and Jalen had her like iPod because we all had iPods at that time, and she was sitting in Sunday school playing a game on her iPod because Sunday school hadn't started yet. And one of the volunteers, who's really young, and he comes up to her and he goes, "You need to put that away. You can't be playing with it." And Jalen literally glared at this guy, like angry, like. And I remember just sitting there, and I was like, here it comes. I was like, the time is now. And it was so scary. And I'm pretty sure you didn't put it away.
No, I didn't put it away. I told him something.
You said something to him, and I remember just
yeah.
like,
I was just like, no, I was like, why?
I know.
What? Nothing's happening right now. I'm going to be on my phone. When something starts, I said, I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I was like, when something starts, I will put my iPod away.
Yeah.
But right now, why?
It's so bad. It's okay.
I have always had a fighting spirit.
Yeah, it's okay.
I know what I want. Let's just say that. And that's not ever changing. Okay.
This one says, don't choose a career just for money. Do something that makes you happy and feels good.
Mm-hmm. That's so good.
I agree. I think that if you're going to do something like a career, so we're talking, this isn't like a pizza job, you know, this is something that you want to dedicate your life to. I think that it should be something that does make you happy and you're excited to go to work in the morning. Because if you're not, like, you're just going to be living a miserable life. I don't know who would
That's
want
not
that.
helping your depressive state if you don't like what you're doing.
Like, obviously, I think that there's certain things where you're going to have to do things you don't necessarily love doing to make some money. Obviously, when you're younger, maybe it's not a career. Like, you're going to have to maybe work multiple jobs to make some money to save, and you're not going to love it, but it's good.
But even then, I would say don't let that take up your life, because I feel like that's what I got caught in. I was so focused on, when I was younger, focused on working, and that took up all my life, and I wasn't putting any time, or like time is money. I wasn't putting time into my other relationships, and work was everything. So I feel like that's also really important.
Yeah, I agree.
Another thing kind of along these lines, this is so chaotic. I wanted, for a very good stint of time, I was thinking about going into event planning. And I decided to not do it, because in the long run that would cost me time with my family.
Yeah.
And so I think that's also important too, because it may be something you enjoy, but also think about the other things that it may take away from. I feel like that's something that people get caught in a lot, is work becomes the priority above the relationships, and that can turn bad really, really fast.
Yeah, I agree.
I love how our little things we're saying about these is just like, we just stop. We're just like, that's good. Okay. Good. Oh,
Joseph 18 has a lot of wisdom. He says, don't be an idiot. And I agree.
That's good. That's the best piece of advice I could say.
Oh my word.
We should just end the podcast here. Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot. Let's see here.
Ooh, we were just talking about that.
We were just talking about this. You can see that.
It says, CC18 says, this too shall pass. I personally try to remind myself and my friends of this as much as possible. It's true. I mean, in the moment, it's really hard to think about it passing, and because you're so caught up in it. But you do have to remember that it's going to pass, and then you're going to look back on it, and you're going to be able to see what you learned from it and how you grew from it.
It's actually interesting because recently, I don't know why this started. I think it actually started during driver's ed when we had to do like our 30 hours or something driving with the people before you were allowed to like take the test.
Massachusetts is ridiculous.
I hated it. Like, dreaded waking up to do these driver's hours. And I remember sitting there and just in my head being like, this won't last forever. There'll be a day when I look back on this. And for some reason, every time I do something hard now, in my head, I'm like, just remember, this won't last forever. Like, I don't know why. I just always think about
that. Speaking of those driving hours, I had to wake up at 5 a.m. for one of them.
I'm so glad I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
This one is really good. It says, you can't please everyone. There are going to be people that don't like you or what you do for whatever reason, and you just have to accept that. I think that's huge, especially, you know, being middle school teenagers, young adults, even adults. Like, you could be doing something completely right, and there's always going to be haters, I guess, for lack of better words, and you can't let them get to you, because you got to just stay strong, and they're trying to, you know, get a reaction from you. And as long as you are doing the right thing, you can't say anything. So
yeah, I feel like a lot of these, like, as I'm reading them, I'm sensing a common theme of it's like not focusing on like material things, but like paying attention to things around you, the people around you, how you feel, stuff like that. I feel like that is a lot of what I'm getting at from this article, which I think is interesting, because people are realizing that, and that's what the Bible says.
I know, that is true.
And that is it's instilled in us as God created us. He wanted us to focus on our relationship because we are relationally driven, our relationship with him, because that's ultimately the difference between Christians. We recognize that our relationship with him is most important, but also the relationship with people around us.
Yeah. I love when certain quotes or things in culture, like, so the golden rule, for example, when I learned that the golden rule actually isn't in the Bible, I was like,
shocked. Yeah.
What?
Same.
I was like, because I mean, growing up in the Christian circle, not Christian circle, it's always the golden rule. And someone told me that it's not in the Bible. I mean, the Bible teaches it, treat others how you want to be, like, treat others before yourself. But I was like, what? Like, culture will quote all these things, and it's like the basis of the Christian faith, which is so cool to me.
Like, literally everything goes back to him.
Yeah, it does.
It's so crazy. And people try to deny it.
I know.
Wow. Okay. Oh, this one's good. I like this. It says, you are loved. I feel like that's just a good reminder. Yeah. I feel like a good friend will tell you that.
Yeah.
You're loved and capable, especially when you're going through hard times.
Yeah.
Guys, you are loved and capable. You can do it.
You're stronger than you think. We just talked about that on the podcast, and it's so true.
We are sensing a common theme in our lives, guys.
I think that's all of them. That's all the life advice they have.
Be where your... Ooh, this is good. It says, be where your feet are. Be present in the moment. I like that. Be where your feet are.
Yeah. I think that sometimes technology and everything can get... Of course, I sound like an adult. Like, phones are the problem. But technology can, like, get in the way of being present. I mean, it's people always say, like, having a conversation and you're on your phone during it or you're doing something else, like, pretty bad at that. I have to a lot of work in that, but... Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's all the advice.
Yeah. We can definitely we should come up with some of our own.
I feel like, okay, here's the thing. So school, right? Growing up, they didn't teach a lot of stuff that you actually need to learn in adulthood. Like how to do your taxes, how to deal with car stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know, all this basic adulting stuff where you're like retirement funds. Setting those up. Like,
this is why we need to have your mom on the podcast.
I know. There's certain things that would have been so helpful, which again, I have a huge thing with the school system. I feel like
change it.
I know it's not good in my opinion. I'm not.
It's not, and it's getting worse and worse every day.
Like, shout out to you if you're a teacher and you're listening to this, because you do such an amazing job. You know, and
it's so hard
into the kids, and it's hard. And
the things I see on the internet about teachers and just how you're treated, like, especially by parents, some parents are just cruel, but you're doing good by these kids and you're doing your best, especially Christian teachers. It baffles me how you can go into a school and teach something that you don't necessarily believe in. I don't know how you do it. I could not. But honestly, and you're teaching it in love and you're caring for those children because that's what God would do. He would love the little children. And that's what you're doing. And you're the best of us. We're speaking to the teachers.
I know.
I'm trying to think of any advice I would give. No.
You should try.
That's my advice. Try.
Advice.
Yeah. No, my advice is do embarrassing things, but don't feel embarrassed.
Do it.
Yeah. Embarrass your friends. That's my advice, actually. Because that is the most fun you'll ever get out of life.
Yeah. I just have flashbacks from, like, things you guys would do, and I was just like, why?
So fun.
Why? But yeah, that's good. I don't know. I thought it'd be fun. I think it was fun to kind of look through, like,
it was cool.
What people, try to give.
What people think is good advice.
Yeah.
Follow. Leave us a review. Follow us. Subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
We have a YouTube channel if you're listening. Go find us on Instagram. What a Life Pod. My Instagram is Jalen_Hannah.
And mine's Jaden_Noelle_.
And that is all we have for you today. Check out the rest of our episodes or videos. But for now, what a life.
What a life.